How's it going, everybody? And welcome, Chef Rob Richards.
Howdy, how are you?
Oh man, I'm so excited to have you on here, Rob. Everybody, I wanted to have Rob on this, What's Working Now series because that's exactly what he's got going on, right? He's got full blown studio set up in his kitchen for teaching, teaching, cooking, instructing, and this is exactly what this little series here on LinkedIn is all about: is pivoting in this time, right? And so, Chef, give him a bit of a breakdown of your background. Um, he's got, I mean, I can vouch for the amazing cooking skills. I've had the good fortune of having some of that. Makes things a lot easier to work with somebody and get behind them when the food's actually good, and it's really good. So it's amazing. What's your background there, Rob?
Okay, so I've been in the restaurant business for probably about the restaurant and hotel business, catering business for about probably 30 years total in a nutshell. 20 years is upper management, stuff like that, and then just cooking around town, cooked for two presidents of the United States, a lot of celebrities, a lot of football teams, stuff like that. So, you got that round about cooking expertise, if you will.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a labor of love, that's for sure. You got to love it to
Yeah.
keep on that.
Absolutely. I mean, that whole world it's kind of like there's a lot of similarities in the film world and the restaurant world, having worked in both. That family, you're with these
Oh
people
yeah,
almost 24/7, right?
yeah,
Like it's just insane, and that builds these amazing relationships, right? And that gets in your blood. There's the cooking, there's that aspect, but there's just like that. We're all on the same team and in a mission. Like, it's huge. It's awesome.
that camaraderie. You got to like
Yeah.
each other a lot.
Right.
So
Yeah. And so in this next stage of your journey, what you've jumped in and done the last several months, is really start to build out two Skillets Catering, um, just in time for all of this to happen, right? Perfect
yeah,
timing.
I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, but I'm like,
Right. And so, what's great here, what I've seen you do, and really why I wanted to have you on here, in this series of things, what's working, is exactly what we're seeing in your kitchen right now. You've pivoted a bit and taken this time to go, okay, how do I still stay in front of people? How do I build my brand going forward and even get clients and things like that whenever possible? Tell me about that pivot a little bit.
all right. So I mean, it's obviously I think we all pretty much had that same. Life just came to a screeching halt, and I sat back and I'm just starting two skillets and doing the catering aspect for just myself, not working for a restaurant or a hotel. I just had to step back because this year was going to be a great start of the year. Everything was
Mm.
kind of happening, stuff like that. And then we came to a screeching halt. And, I have to say that the first 2 weeks, I think we all went through that state of shock. You go through all those emotions, up, down. One day you're good, next, I mean, and it was just insane. All together in the house. Now, granted, we all love each other, but I mean, you got to figure that out too, and so you finally slowly figure that out. But
Careful, they're probably listening back there, Rob. So be careful. Careful what
I
you
know,
say.
they're all in the room like, oh, okay, we'll come out. But it was I started really thinking about my father, and he owned
Mm.
his own business, sold copper, brass, and raw materials around the world. And I thought about him, and I was like, I go, what would he do in this situation? And
Mm.
I started really looking online, doing Instagram, kind of looking on Facebook. Instead of doing your standard, like, hey, I'm gonna throw all this together, you guys do it, and hey, I wish you luck. I started kind of strategizing, and how this all came about was I have one client that is an apartment building. They have this concierge service. So my client, I would do either food tastings, wine pairings with cheeses, stuff like that. and I would do banquets for them or any catering events. So all of that kind of went to a screeching halt. Then they were like, "Hey, can you do a cooking thing for our guests or for our clients?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So here's my studio. And, you kind of had to quickly think about different things. And I was like, "Hey, why don't we just do a segment on, I'm going to show you how to cook. If you have any questions throughout the whole thing, you can interact with me, and I can answer questions in real time. And if you need me to slow down, tell me to slow down, stuff like that." So it's a little longer of a segment than what your normal, probably 10, 15 minutes.
But it's
stopped, ready to go.
Right, but it becomes an event, right? And
right.
Like people kind of settle in for it, and like, yeah,
right. And the whole thing is, and hopefully it comes about, is that they watch it to get entertained, and I'll probably start relaxing. But what's crazy is, like, anytime that I'm doing a cooking demonstration, I feed off the audience. Well, I don't have an audience.
Right.
That's really weird. Not say corny jokes that I think are funny, but I can't see the reaction.
But see, that's good though, because then you get to just assume. Oh, I assume they're just laughing their butts off right now. Like, and then you just keep going.
And this guy's a freak.
Right.
But I mean, in a nutshell, it's actually started working.
That live format that you're doing with these allows for that interaction. And what's great with that, it's so many things in one, right? So you're creating that content, you're staying in front of people, and right now that happens to be your exact clientele too. So from a business perspective, it's super smart. You can now take these lives and then break them up and use them later in promotional capacity. And plus for you, mentally doing what you love and keeping that going. And you can always just sit in your house and cook, but it's still a different animal. It's different when you're doing this and you're still serving others, right? And you talk about people, consuming video and they're jumping in. And of course, we all want to sit there and watch Netflix and enjoy and escape and stuff. But cooking is something too that falls into that category of like, I've always wanted to be better at this and learn how to cook a little bit. Like, why not now? Just like they've done with languages or other things.
It's almost like I fell in love with cooking again, and more so than I ever have been. And I can tell you, my family's eating better than they ever have. This is the most I've ever cooked.
You're feeding the world, and they're in there eating McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor Rob's family. Well, this is awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. I'm excited to see what life looks like for you and for Two Skillets coming out the other side, because I think you're going to be stronger for it, jumping in and doing all this stuff. Where can people find you? On Facebook, Instagram, twoskillets.com, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so it's twoskillets.com. We're in the process of revamping my webpage. You can also get on Instagram, Two Skillets, Facebook, Two Skillets Catering, or myself as Robert C. Richards on Facebook. And you can do my YouTube channels too as well. And basically I break down, I've got some how-to videos. I'm also going to do some more videos on kind of how to or what to think about on different catering events or what to look for.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for being on, Rob. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it very much for you asking me. It means a lot, man.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.